Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard. I went from being a lawyer and partner at one of the largest firms in America to becoming an online personality and successful entrepreneur. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your health and personal life. So, how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you chase joy while achieving success? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Welcome back to Hustle and Flow. I am your host, Heather Hubbard, and we are on day 2 of the Get It Done Challenge. If you are stumbling across this podcast episode and you're like, what is the Get It Done Challenge? Go back and listen to basically not just yesterday's episode, but also the episode before that, which kind of explains what we're doing. You're going to want to do this, okay? This challenge, you accomplish so much. You have new perspective, you have new energy. So definitely join in the fun, but don't just jump in today because it will not make any sense. All right. So if you've already done day 1 of the challenge, welcome back. That means you have a huge, potentially, maybe it's not that big. For me, it's always huge. And I feel like most women I know, it's a huge pile of to-dos, of thoughts, of these lists, of everything that we're trying to get accomplished in our homes and at work and in the world. It can feel very daunting. So yesterday we did the brain dump exercise, and I think of it as like when you're cleaning out your closet and you just throw it all in a pile at the beginning, right? Like this is the Marie Kondo. You take everything out of the closet and you just throw it in the middle of the floor. You throw it on your bed. And you look at the pile and you're like, holy shit, this is actually worse than I thought. I was stressed and anxious, and now I feel worse because this is a bigger disaster than I even realized. Okay. If you're feeling that way, don't worry. That is a normal part of the process. But like I mentioned yesterday, the goal for that was to give your brain the signal that you're going to process it. You're going to deal with it so that your brain doesn't constantly have to be trying to do it, because it's like, hey, have you focused on this? Hey, have you focused on this? You said this was important. And this is where we just get exhausted and overwhelmed simply because we're not taking control of getting that out of our head and being like, I got this. I can handle this. And I know all of you do got this and you can handle it. So today we're going to start to work through that big pile of stuff. So whether you did it on, Post-it notes, whether you did it on the computer, whether you wrote it down on a pad of paper, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because what we're going to do today is put it in 3 different piles. Now, depending on which format you used, it might look a little different, but I'll share kind of how to do that with each one. So what you're going to do with organizing, this is a really simple hack, because when we start to see that whole big thing, it can feel really, really overwhelming because we think we have to make decisions and start to take action on each and every item. And that is not the case. That is not the case at all. Now, I know I mentioned Marie Kondo earlier. I don't actually know how Marie Kondo does it. I think she makes you make decisions about each piece. I don't know, but I'm just letting you know, I'm not actually Marie Kondoing this. So if she has a different process, I don't want you to get confused. What we're going to be doing is now sorting these in piles. It's like a preliminary assessment, and a preliminary assessment feels much easier than a true final assessment on each and everything. We can go through a lot faster because it's not permanent. It's not permanent. It is a first draft. So in the same way that our list yesterday, there was 0 judgment. Today, it's not necessarily about judgment, because I do want you to use some judgment. But what I want you to know is that it is not a final judgment. You can change your mind at any time. And because you know you can change your mind, it gives you permission to make decisions without overthinking it. Okay. That's the hack of how we're going to get more done in less time today. We've got hacks for every single day. If you've ever done a vision board with me, you know that I have a similar process. When you're like cutting out what you want on it, you put it in 3 piles. We're going to do those 3 piles today. So the first pile is, this has to get done. Like if this doesn't get done by the end of the year, it's going to be a major, major problem. Like I might lose my job. Like my kids aren't going to have Christmas presents, right? Like that kind of thing. I mean, it's like, it's got to get done. Got to get done this year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Then on the far opposite side, you're going to have the things of this doesn't have to get done this year, right? You're not saying it will never get done, but you're saying, I mean, in the scheme of things, this does not have to get done by the end of 2024. We can deal with it later. And we're going to keep working through planning. I'll have more podcasts to help you out. Okay. But so you don't have to worry about when it's going to get done or how it's going to get done. We're just going to set it aside. We're just going to set it aside for now. Okay. We're not forgetting about it. We're not saying no to it. We're simply saying this does not have to be dealt with right now. Now, some of these things you might look at and be like, that actually, now that I'm looking at it, I don't even know why I wrote that down because that's an easy no. We're not doing that. Doesn't actually have to get done. In that case, you can just throw it away, right? Yesterday was all about no judgment. If we have the thought, it's going down. But today, you might have a little bit of judgment and say, that actually doesn't matter. I'm not giving that any more space in my mind or heart or anywhere. We're going to toss it out. But if it's something that you're like, no, it needs to get done. I want it to get done. I think it should get done. Put it in the pile that says, we'll deal with it, but not this year. Then you've got the middle pile. And this tends to be where most things go. You do it your own way. If you got too much, though, and that has to get done pile, as we move throughout the week, I'm going to probably push back a little because some of it probably doesn't have to be done, like it's not an emergency situation. It's just, I got to get it all done. And it's like, well, is that even possible? So most of it, as you're checking in, just make sure that most of it probably is in that middle pile. If it's in the push off pile, that's cool too. Totally cool. Just try not to have too much of it. And that like, this is truly important, has to get done. It's the end of the world if we don't get it done. Okay. So in that middle pile, this is all the stuff where you're like, man, if I have time and energy, I really want to get this done, right? Like I want to get it done. Maybe it's not that you want to do it, but you feel like you should get it done. It would be really helpful if you went ahead and got it done. That's going to go in your middle pile. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't get done, but you would really, really like to get it done by the end of the year. That's all you're doing today. That's all you're doing. You're just putting them in the 3 piles. So if you did the Post-it note method, then move to another wall, divide it up, right? And just have different sections. So this is my have to have section, my don't really, we'll deal with it next year section. And then you have another that is, I'd like to do it if there's time and energy. That's one. If you have the computer, then again, you might just have 3 different columns or tables or pages, and then you're just going to copy and paste into each one. Where do they all belong? And then if you do a pad of paper, the way that I like to do it is I just like to lay it out and look at it. And then I'll have 3 different pieces of paper. And on the top right, like I'll write, have to, got it, like can wait, or it would be nice, but doesn't have to happen. And then I just literally take it through and then I write it down, right? Write it down. And so then you're going to end up with your 3 different lists. There's no right or wrong way to do that. It's just kind of how you process. And if you're thinking, well, dang, if I had known that, I would have done it a different way. That's good information for you because this is a good thing to come back to regularly, quarterly. So you'll now know the process that works best for you. We're all different learners. We all take action in different ways. So just, it's like, oh, okay, got it. Learn something new today. I'll do it differently in the future, but it's all cool today. It's all cool today. So make your piles, have fun. You can join me at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube Live. If you have signed up on the Get It Done Challenge website, you have an email that has the link that tells you where to come to. Come hang out. Let's have fun. Let's join together in community. Tell me what worked, what didn't work, where you're frustrated, where you're overwhelmed, where you had some celebrations, where you had some, breakthrough moments. Because as you do this work, you're going to see stuff on your own that's not even part of that exercise. But let's go through it. Let's go through it together. I can offer answers, tips, more tricks, and we'll have a great time. So come join me there. And If you want to be entered for the prize for today, which is a ticket to the planning extravaganza, what you need to do is number one, make sure that you are officially registered. And that is at getitdonechallenge.com. You got to give your name and your email. That gets you officially registered. Number two is follow me on Instagram, Heather Joy Hubbard. If you participated yesterday, you're already following me and you're already officially registered. So all you have to do, if you've already been playing along, is one more step. And this is today's entry step. Share my Instagram reel to your stories. Okay. So I have an Instagram reel from today. Make sure it's from today that talks about how to prioritize and do the 3 piles. So you're just going to share it on your stories. You can just share it and not say anything. You can just tag me and use the hashtag Heather, use the hashtag Get It Done Challenge. Tag me, Heather Joy Hubbard, hashtag Get It Done Challenge. Or you can share how that concept, that exercise has helped you. Anything you want. Have fun with it. Invite others to come in and join us. Just make sure that it is public. Again, if you have a private account, you can tag me all day long, but I won't see it. I won't see it. So it won't count. We have to be able to know that you shared it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay, that is it. That is it. That is it for today. Go do your piles, sort through them, and I will see you this afternoon on YouTube Live and back here tomorrow for day 3 of the Get It Done Challenge. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, give the episode a like and leave a comment below so we can keep the conversation going. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future episode or announcement. Listening on Apple, Spotify, or another podcast app, you can watch the video and join in the after show conversation by visiting hustleandflowpodcast.com.